Hello everyone, Phoenix61 here. What is going on? We have some World of Warships Legends for you today. I am, of course, your host for tonight's shenanigans, right? We are in the Smaland. This is a ship that, I don't know, I've somewhat recently played through this, this Pan-European, the original tech tree for this. So I only had like a few, I want to say I only have like a handful of games in it, right? So I was like, all right, let's play a couple games with Smaland, right? And just taking a look at the board, typically when I'm a destroyer, the first thing I look at is what the other destroyers are, right? And we got pretty decent guns on this thing, as well as pretty fun, long-range, quick-moving torpedoes as well. One thing that I don't like is the torpedoes are I think the front rack shoots 5, and the rack that's towards the, further towards the back only shoots 3, so I always am like, oh dang it, that's the 3 rack, or that's the, so like I wish like make them both 4, right? Like it's like, come on, like something. But anyway, I digress, right? So this is one of those games where, well, first we'll highlight just the importance of surviving early on as a destroyer player. So we'll highlight that, but then it's also gonna be this situation. You can see we're up against 5 battleships, which is, that's good if you're a destroyer, especially if you're, well, for the most part, if you're a torpedo boat, let's say that. So we see that the zone's getting capped, and we've got radar on this ship. It's only 7.5 kilometers range, but since we knew he was in the capture, he was in the sea cap, we knew we would pick him up with the radar. And it's not very long lasting either, but a lot of times you can get away with just scaring the other destroyer off, right? And it's a Hayate. I think we can outgun him if we need to, but our concealment isn't the best, so I'm going to guess he's probably got better concealment than me, and he's probably running smokescreen, right? So, like, I think, yeah. There's one of those ships where you can switch smokescreen out for torpedo reload booster, and I always forget it might be the Hayate, but anyway, most of the time Hayates are running smoke. So yeah, so I tried to take advantage here of the fact that it looked like he left the zone, and then I took a gamble on where to send torpedoes, and then he did come back into it. So he either hit full reverse or was able to loop around here pretty quickly. And, since I am a destroyer, we're going to be a good little boy destroyer. I'm like, you know what? If that Hayate is, he's probably the only destroyer over here. There's a good likelihood, right? Because I see one over at the A cap for the enemy team, right? So, and we're fast. We can, we'll try that. I feel confident in our guns. Our battleship here is a German battleship, and it looks like he wants to press around, right? So we're just kind of trying to, like, size up the situation here at this point, and then sure enough, so Hayate opens his guns up, and so we spot him, and then I know that the Pomer's going to help shoot him as well. But as we get out of spotting range here, which is 6 kilometers for me, I'm going to stop shooting my guns, and you'll have to wait that 20 seconds till you finally go unspotted. So we'll just try and be patient. This is the don't die, right? That's super valuable not to die. And I'm going to do the same thing here, right? Whether or not this is the right call, it's always tough, but like trying to get rid of these destroyers early on, right? But I'm like, just panic, like, I gotta get him before he gets away, right? Because if he goes dark here, right, if he goes unspotted, he could potentially last the rest of the game and just, play smart, conservative, and be unspotted, right? So I'm sending everything. And now, at this point, our Pomer should probably be slamming on the brakes and backing up towards me, right? Because he has at least 3 battleships up in front of him. He's significantly outnumbered, and I can only do so much, right? I'm waiting the full length of my reload for my torpedoes. I gotta get, positioned around. He's requesting help, right? Totally understandable, right? I'm like, I'm gonna come in and do what I can, but yeah, you're gonna have to make something happen here if you want to live. But yeah, so we're, one down ship on each side, right? But we did lose a battleship over a destroyer. But not a big deal to me. But as far as gameplay goes, we'll have to just kind of wait and see what happens. But this is one of those games where it's just like, I say this a lot in a lot of my videos, where this game can be really circumstantial, right? Like, in order to have those really epic, great play, fun games, you got to have a few bad people on both teams, right? Including your own, right? So this guy here, like, I mean, I'm not saying he's bad. This is typical German battleship, right? Like, you want to go in and use those secondaries and those torpedoes and see what you can do and have fun with it, right? But Yeah, he's definitely outnumbered over here, and I can only do so much, right? So, but this is one of those games where it's like, when opportunity presents itself, you got to take advantage of it, right? So, I'm in a destroyer. I've got decent torpedoes. These are quick moving, long range torpedoes, right? I don't have smoke, which is a little disappointing, right? But we've got 4 battleships over here. This is a lot of damage to be done, right? And if they're gonna hang out over here, I honestly don't know why none of them seem to want to push through, turn in and push through B. But here they come a-sailing for us, right? And this is just a destroyer's dream, so, carpe diem, right? Let's just get, if they're gonna let me have it, I'm gonna give it to them, right? If they're gonna sit there and take it, we're gonna do this, right? So, but yeah, three battleships moving towards the sea cap, and then we've got one flooding right now inside the sea cap. Oh nope, he must have put it out, I think. But yeah, so he trips his smoke. He knows where we are, right? He'll trip his smoke. Maybe he can, I'll focus on the other battleships, I guess, the sacrifice so they could get the zone. But yeah, we'll just be patient, and this was a scenario where I'm do as I say, not as I do kind of situation where I always like to say when you're a destroyer player and you've got 2 or 3 racks of torpedoes, try and space them out. But it was these guys, and you want to do that because you want to try and trigger floods at the right timing so that they don't have damage control party ready, right? So, but here it was just they're so clumped together, and so it was we get 6 hits there or something, so I was I can't not send both racks in this situation. So we do. So now we got to wait the full reload, but now we can't send anything while we wait here. And I tripped my radar here, and in reality, I probably should not have done that. I was just man, maybe I could pick up that Marco Polo and see what he's doing, but it's 7.5 kilometers, so in reality, I didn't pick him up. He came out of his smoke, and that's why we were able to spot him. But I really should have saved it for in case we get into a confrontation with one of the 2 remaining destroyers that are left on their team, right? But in reality, I don't want to do that. I've already used up quite a bit of my health, right? We're at half, so the name of my game here is going to be keep my distance and continue to just send torpedoes at these battleships, right? This is where I'm the most valuable in this game, in this example, in this situation, this circumstance, whatever you want to call it, right? And so yeah, just you got to take advantage of these moments in this game, right? When you just get this kind of opportunity. But yeah, so again, sent both racks because it was just these, there's no way I'm not getting at least a couple of hits here, right? So 4 hits there. And, these aren't super crazy damaging torpedoes, but I think they have decent concealment, I think might be part of it. And then, so, it's hard for ships to pick them up early. And then they're fast moving too, so they're hard to dodge. And then, you got really great range with them with that at 13 kilometers, right? So I'm just kind of keeping an eye too in front of me. There is a cruiser up there, right? But so I think if the cruiser, knew that these battleships were dealing with the destroyer, that it would make sense for him to kind of come over here and try and challenge me, right? But that does not happen here. This Ruprecht, I'm going to guess he's going to try and, he wants to avoid being next to all these other guys. So I'm going to guess he's going to try and go between those islands there. So that's where I send my torpedoes, right? I'm predicting that that's where he's headed. So he'll have some acceleration and stuff before, by the time my torpedoes get there. So that ends up being a really great shot. I think we can land at least 1 on him. And then Marco Polo plus this, what is this, an Iwami up here or something, I think, too, are going to be in the B cap here. So they've pressed in as well. So it's all right. So that was a situation where I was all right, I'm glad I got the 5 torpedo launcher for the B cap and the 3 for the Ruprecht, right? So now we're just, waiting on reload again, and we'll just keep an eye on these. And they are getting the zones too. I didn't, you could argue a safe bet is going back for the C cap and getting that zone. Yeah, we get that 1 there. So that's great, and we're already up over 100,000 damage. We're going to get some more hits here in the B cap. But we just, this opportunity of us being able to consistently land torpedo hits on battleships is probably a little bit more valuable at this stage in the game. Just given the situation, the circumstance. My team pretty much dominated over at the A cap. Now, granted, there weren't that many, I think they were they were sort of like dealing with the weak side, and they had more, they had more ships, right? They were outnumbering the enemy over there, but it is what it is, right? So they're dealing with one, they're dealing with a destroyer, and then I know there's another destroyer probably somewhere around this B cap as well. So I'm keeping my distance. I don't want to press in too hard. I've only got so much health left. We can do a little bit of gun and run, but that'll be the limit of our life if we get spotted and all of these battleships suddenly want revenge, right? So I am now going to head towards the C cap because it's a little bit safer for me. And then on our way there, we're going to see what sort of torpedo action situation we can get. So there's that other destroyer that popped up. He is low on health, so that'll be nice. But that's what I was saying, like now if and somebody did just do a zoom and just finish him off. But that's what I was saying, like if I had saved my radar, which I totally should have done, right, I'd be able to use that against him if we ran into that situation, right? If I knew he was hanging around these islands close to me, I could trip that again and pick him up if I needed to. But he's gone for now. The only one left is in the A cap, dealing with one of our battleships. We'll have to see how that goes. Then I'm just going to keep moving towards C here to try and get, take this one back just in case we run into like a point situation, right? This is one of those scenarios where like these guys got all the zones now, and it would only take like one lonely destroyer to just run away, right, and get like a solo warrior medal against us, right? So we'll fire at Carl Johan here because it looks like he's gonna run into the land there, so this will be another easy, some easy hits as well. And then I moved forward just a little too much so we can back up and respot him, and then that'll be perfect timing to send more torpedoes. So up to 140,000 damage. We're getting at 1 or 2 here. 2. No flood though. A little bit left on the cap. So you could probably shoot at him. The Carl Johan, a lot of people do secondary builds with that ship, right? So I would guess if I shot my guns here and got spotted, his secondaries would shoot at us, right? But if it was any other ship, right, if it wasn't a secondary build ship, you can see his guns looking the other way. So you could open up your guns and just pick on him while you cap this zone. There's nothing else in here that's going to shoot us. So they lose the rest of their ship, so now he is the only guy left. But yeah, here you can see here come his secondary batteries picking on us, right? But I kind of figured, like, all right, we got the zone capped. He's the last ship. Let's see if we can't get ourselves up over this 200,000 damage done, right, Mark? Let's see how it goes. But this was just nice, like, well, like it looks easy, right? Like, I mean, and it kind of is, right? Like, all you got to do is play smart, take your time, launch those torpedoes, right? When it's you versus 4 battleships, right? You're in the counter ship by being in a destroyer that can shoot a good chunk of torpedoes at these guys, right? So, yeah, it was very much so a situational type thing, and you just gotta, know your ship's strengths and weaknesses and take advantage of it there, and then that's how you come out with these good games. But yeah, like I said, like that's the reason you kind of still need some bad players on your own team too, is because if everyone kind of plays their part and does their thing, then you don't end up with these bigger damage numbers, right? I would have had somebody over on my C-cap side helping me out a lot more, and then I wouldn't have done as much work, right? So those kind of make a little bit of an argument for having some having some potatoes here and there, right? So, but yeah, we'll finish this guy off up to 190,000 damage. So the guns are pretty good here, right? Like, we've got a couple of fires started, but yeah, we get, we can whittle them down over time here, right? And they work pretty good against some, other destroyers and stuff too, but when you do run into that, there we go, another fire there. Can we get over 200k? Somebody else is going to get a big hit on him probably here. Turning left to try and get both gun turrets on him. We have fast reloading here. I did build into the guns a little bit, just because, like, you don't get smoke screen with this ship, right? So, and then the concealment's not the greatest. So it's you do end up in those gun battles here and there with destroyers, kind of like what we did with the Hayate in the beginning. But that gives us 197,000, so pretty close to the 200k. And then we do break the 3,000 XP credit mark here with the 3157. I think XP is going to be you're going to be able to get a little bit more now that there's that assist ribbon thing, because you get a little XP from that, right? So we got 4 of those in that match. So yeah, if you're an XP record hunter out there, right, you could probably start checking your favorite ships, right? See what the records are out there online. I kind of wish that was an internal thing to Legends, like that there was XP and damage records there. You could go any of these like main battery mods too, right? Like I think those would be good calls here, but I went torpedo reload. But you do you, right? Like I said, it's got decent guns, and so for inspirations, I picked Sims to give me some more health, and then this guy for more HE shell damage, right? So I'm more so built into the guns here. I'm using Jersey Swirsky, right? And then, so this last row, I do have a smoke screen perk selected, which, in reality you shouldn't. You should probably pick this Fox Flare, which gives you some better reload while radar is active, right? But I think I've got this guy on another ship that does have smoke screen, and so yeah, like I think there's a reason I've got it there, and I don't want to change it. But yeah, it's one of those things where you got to like check the commander before you launch the ship, right? Like and see what's what and what makes sense. There is an argument there for like being able to have a different commander setup per ship, right? Like so having those tied there, but I don't know. There's probably ups and downs and pros and cons to that too. But that's going to be our Smaland video for the day, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you are following the channel. I do Legends videos pretty much every day, so we'll see you guys tomorrow.